Hello, I am your host, Steven Avalos, alongside my dad.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Who is that, you guys might be wondering? It's Marissa. She's back.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Good to have you back, Marissa.
Thank you.
Definitely been a long time, but we are glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Look forward to talking about baseball, especially with you since you are our expert in that field. And want to just get straight to it?
Playoff time.
Yep, so NBA playoffs, they're pretty much midway, getting to the latter of the second round. You know, some matches already going into elimination mode, or at least they're really close to it. So we're going to do a recap of how the series in the first round went and then the current ones at the moment, and just talk about that and what it could mean. So first off, there was the Philadelphia 76ers against the Washington Wizards. So that one ended 4-1 with Philadelphia winning that series. It was pretty decisive. None of the games were really that close. Just, Washington should be glad they just won one, really.
And that was the first game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was. I'm not sure which order these series were in, but these are all the first rounds.
Yeah, I think Washington won the first game, and that was it.
And then the Knicks against Atlanta. That was probably Knicks. I think were definitely the most disappointing team.
Yeah, it seemed like Randall just tried to carry the team by himself, tried to do way too much, and end up doing nothing.
I'm not sure if it was that, but he just wasn't good. He just couldn't do anything that was working for him before.
First time playoff lose.
Yeah, probably. Milwaukee against Miami. Milwaukee had some like the first game. It was like, oh god, what is Milwaukee doing? Like, things did not look right, but they were still able to win in overtime in that one, and they swept Miami.
Yeah, and Miami took them out of the playoffs last year, so definitely a lot more was expected out of Miami. They just didn't show up.
Yeah, Brooklyn against Boston. Boston, I feel like they had some close ones, like maybe like a couple, but like other than that, Brooklyn really was like ahead the whole time.
Well, yeah, they got the whole team back together. They've only played a handful of games, with Harden, Irving, and KD together, and they pretty much dominated that series.
Yep, now going into the West, Utah and Memphis. That one, Memphis won the first game, and that was the whole thing was Mitchell being frustrated of not being able to play. And then the moment they got him back in, then it was pretty easy from there, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize how good of a player he was. I basically, just follow the Warriors. I should follow other teams, but I don't. And watching him play as often as I did in the playoffs, he's really showed what a great player he is.
Yeah,
scoring machine.
The Clippers and Mavericks, I'm definitely disappointed in the Mavericks with this one. Like, it shows that Doncic needs more help outside of himself because no one else really did that well. Hardaway had a good start to the series, but then he really fizzled out hard at the end, and it was pretty frustrating to watch, especially when they had a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, well, Dallas won the first two games.
Yeah.
And he couldn't win the home games. The only team to win a home game in that series was the Clippers, the last game.
Yeah. And then you got Denver and Portland. Portland, they definitely worked really hard in this one, and it's pretty similar to how it is with the Mavericks. Damian Lillard needs a lot more help. And he also didn't shoot well in the Game 6 either. He only shot 1 of 9, but he should still be taking more shots, even if he's missing that many.
Oh, yeah. There was a couple great games they played, but
the coaching wasn't good.
Well, Stotts is out now, though.
Yeah, they mutually parted ways. And then my favorite one, the Suns beating the Lakers in 4-2 games. I was happy to see the Lakers lose.
You got a little happy about that one there, Marissa.
Yeah.
Well, now why are you so happy about it?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't like the Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't like LA teams.
Yeah.
Not the Dodgers?
Especially not the Dodgers.
Okay. I thought there might have been, it was some not Angels.
Neutral.
Neutral.
You just feel bad for them.
Well,
I'm just gonna name a bunch of LA teams.
But,
Ducks.
The Ducks.
Yeah. Anaheim Ducks.
Oh, I was thinking the Kings. No, because there's the LA Kings.
Yeah, and the Ducks.
Well, let's move on either way. So now we got the conference semifinals. So Philadelphia is up 2-1 against the Atlanta Hawks. I think that one is going to end in 5. Just the Hawks don't look like they have anything after that first game to go for them.
I actually think they're going to win tonight.
And then you got Milwaukee and Brooklyn. That one's tied 2-2. After the first 2 games, I thought even after the third one, I was like, oh, Brooklyn still got it. But with Irving hurt and a timetable still not really determined for Harden, I think this might end up ending in 6, and the games might not even be close.
Yeah, and it looks like Harden won't get his championship because with Durant, Harden, and Irving, they should win it all.
Yeah, but they never had time together.
Yeah, well, Harden went out with the hamstring, didn't even play. He played 1 minute in game 1.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what he did. And now Irving's out. He took a very painful injury with his ankle.
Yeah, they already said he's out for game 5.
Yeah.
And then you got Utah up 2-1 against the Clippers. That one I'm of course hoping for Utah because, well, boo LA. I just don't like seeing LA teams win.
Is that the one LA team you like?
No.
Okay.
And then last but not least, the only one that's done is Denver and Phoenix, where Denver was swept, which was very surprising. And I wasn't mad about it because I've been rooting for the Suns in this playoff. All these series going on, I've been rooting for the Suns, so I didn't really mind it, but it's still kind of a bummer, especially when you got the MVP there.
Yeah, and he got kicked out of the last game.
I didn't agree with the call. I think it was a dumb foul, but the kick him out of the game.
Well, they interviewed him. I heard the interview, and he said he wanted to get his team fired up, and he fouled him on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't know the extent of the foul when he did it. He didn't know he was going to hit him in the face, which he did, and he ended up getting kicked out.
Yeah, I still don't think it was a flagrant 2, though, especially just because, I hate hearing it sometimes, but it's he's an MVP. He's taking the MVP out in that kind of situation. It's a bummer.
Yeah. But Booker's been playing really good. Paul's been out of his mind. In the third quarter of the game last night, there was a point where he took 5 straight shots in the exact location. He would just dribble the ball to the same location, to the right of the free throw line, and do the jump shot. Boom, 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 boom. You got 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it just seems like he can't. He's, it's almost like, because he's had a lot of injuries, in his career, especially in the playoffs. He gets hurt a lot in the playoffs.
You're sounding like he gets injured conveniently on purpose.
Almost, but now it's like
what?
Now he's playing really well. He's playing really well now, and he's healthy. And you have some other players in other playoff series getting hurt, so just it's interesting to see. And if he can stay healthy, that could be a big deal for the Suns.
That noise I was making was a typewriter because that's breaking news. Not like anybody knows what a typewriter is nowadays, but anyway.
I used to have a typewriter, like a kid one.
There you go.
Okay.
Do you like the noise it made?
Yeah, I like typing on it, but I don't think it worked very well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get back to sports.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go over the updates now. I'm pretty sure that's it for our playoff series. So, first off, let's talk about the Oakland A's. They've been doing really well. They've had some shaky series and all that where, we know they should be playing better, but they don't. But, they've been handed over some pretty easy teams to go against, such as the Arizona Diamondbacks and Kansas City Royals.
Kansas City Royals.
And
Kansas City Royals is such a funky team. Yeah, because they started out so hot, losing streak, winning streak. Now they've lost, I think, 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 games. I'm not quite sure what they've done, but they're on another bad losing streak.
They're 2.
Yeah.
They've won 2 of the last 10.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So yeah, they're not doing well.
They need
at all.
to call up Bobby Witt Jr. That's their top prospect. I think he's tearing it up in the minors. They need to call him up.
You know who would help them out a lot?
Who?
Cashmere.
Oh, dude. My dad had Casimir as the comeback player of the year.
Well, I think he's back in the minors, so he could come back, but not comeback player of the year.
But yeah, I
You have something to say?
no.
Yeah, you got something to say. You looked at your phone and gave a thumbs up sign. So what is it? What are you talking
I'll
about?
say the whole thing was Casimir because it's just he has no shot at comeback player of the year now. You're gonna get in the minors or something.
Wait until the half. I mean, if he doesn't get back in the majors by the halfway point, then he won't.
I mean,
But
they're
it's
probably
a
gonna
possibility.
give it to Trey Mancini probably.
For the American League.
Yeah,
For
because
National
they do
League.
both leagues in
For
baseball.
Chipozy.
Posey. He
Yes.
might. Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't play last year. He sat out.
That's
Yeah.
he came
That
back.
He came
That
back,
doesn't count.
but he sat out.
He had nothing to
for
come back
family
from.
reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he had no,
And
and I
he's-
agree with that. You know, he was helping to raise some kids.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with that. But in order to be a comeback player, you've got to come back from playing. He basically just sat out. He was always a good player. This is just my. But you're gonna disagree, aren't you, Marissa?
Yes, because technically, the last few years his numbers had been well.
He has
To be
been
fair,
declining.
he had been leading the team even with mediocre average numbers. So technically, he is coming back from those years and playing better. I don't know. I don't see who else you can give it to in the National League. I don't. It's still early.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We shall see, said the blind man.
Yeah, what you got? I want to talk about the All-Star for a little bit. Is who do you think are on the A's and Giants are possible All-Stars? Because for me, it's guys like Bassett, Manaea, and Olsen that are the top guys. Canada maybe, but and then also maybe Kemp too. But Kemp plays so many positions, it's hard to designate him. But he's been a big surprise this year.
Yeah, he might be comeback player of the year. Heck,
They're
compare
gonna give it to
how little he
Mancini.
played last year.
Yeah,
what he's doing this year?
Mancini's gonna get. He
Mancini's
has a
got it
story
wrapped
too,
up.
and he's also ahead of Olsen. in All-Star
What
voting.
happened? A little health issues?
Oh, you had cancer.
Oh, now you're gonna do the C card, huh? Okay.
C
Oh.
card. That's a thing.
Of course, I'm kidding. Cancer is very serious. I mean, I lost a brother to cancer a year ago, so I'm just making light of
Yeah.
Mancini, I guess. And that's not good either. So just forget what I just said and just
we get it.
continue
Yeah, no.
with.
You're just joking.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I think Olsen is probably the A's best positional player, but
Yeah.
there's no way Guerrero is gonna be
no,
first baseman.
No, starter. But I mean, he should still be an alternate because they always have one or two alternates.
Yeah,
And
but
you can't just have
there's a lot
Guerrero
of
play
good.
the whole game.
There's a lot of good first basemen in the American League, and Olsen is one of them. But I don't know voting wise. I don't know. A's
Now,
fans stepping
But
up.
G-Man Choi shouldn't be ahead of him.
G-Man Choi's been injured, so he shouldn't be there.
He only has 14 hits and he's ahead of Olsen in voting.
Well, how important to you is the fan voting?
Well, doesn't that determine it?
Well,
how much?
what-
What's the percentage between fans and then actual executives
What
deciding?
I heard on MLB Network was that the top 3 for each position in fan voting moves on to the second round, and then the fans vote again for who's going to start, and I guess who's going to be the backup, and I don't know what happens to the third guy. I don't know. It's a weird system, but the A's have to have somebody there.
Yeah,
And I think
Olsen.
more than one.
He's got a great batting average.
Yeah.
yeah, we have to have at least one person. Olsen has to be that person. They put him in right field, which he has played before. I remember him playing right field in 2016. At the very end of the year, before we even knew
Really?
Olsen as
You're
Olsen.
going to have him play an All-Star
I'm
game
just
in right field.
It's a joke.
Oh, okay.
I think they could have either Manaea or Bassett there as well.
They've been playing really well.
Mhm.
Bassett, they both have their shaky moments, but I think it would go to Manaea.
Oh, I think Bassett's had been more steady.
Yeah, true. But
Well-
they're both really good. They both really would have earned it.
I think they should have more than one representative. I mean, geez, they're first place.
I remember the one year where it was almost the entire lineup for someone. Which team was it? Where they were really loaded. I think was it the Dodgers where they had almost Cubs. The Cubs
Oh.
in 2016 or 15.
6 players?
6 or 7. It was oh my god, it's just
That
the
was
Cubs.
when they were really good.
Yeah, but didn't that happen with the Dodgers too? Where they just at least
I
at
wouldn't
the
doubt it.
vote-
Well,
when
I'm
they-
sure
they-
because Dave Roberts was the manager too, the last couple.
They generally have all-star teams, like the Yankees used to have.
I think the Royals. I think they had that too, where the Royals that covered a lot of the All-Star game and Ned Yost, of course, managing that. And I remember Vogt was an alternate, but he never even was put in. And I despise the 2015 Royals. I just don't like them at all.
They would you know what?
But I know I don't mind that they won it, but the way they
You
behaved.
just said despise them.
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong word, man. Now I despise the Houston Astros.
I agree.
But I also don't. But with the Royals, is the way they're also picking fights with people a lot. How they got.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so it's really unfortunate that Ventura
Yeah.
passed, but I that's not gonna change the fact that he was a jerk when he was in the league. Like remember the one time Trout.
So you deserve to die.
No. Oh my God, no. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
No one does, but I'm just saying like he was definitely he had his anger issues because I remember one time Trout hit a line drive past him. Of course, you can't really control where you're gonna hit. Like if he threw his bad, I'm like, yeah, that's one thing. But he just hit a line drive. It wasn't even that close to him, and Ventura was like yelling at him as he went down the first base side because he didn't like that he almost hit him.
Yeah.
And like or just other things too. Where he just got mad at people for like every little thing.
He's an angry guy.
But I don't like that. I know you like fights.
I do like fights, but yeah, he was very
hot-headed.
hot-headed.
And you like pitchers hitting.
I love pitchers hitting. Jacob
Hitting-
DeGrom has been
Hitting people or hitting the ball?
hitting the ball.
Yeah,
Because hitting people causes fights.
I didn't know he was that good of a hitter. Apparently he is.
Well,
He's
I don't know
an
if he
athlete.
has been before
Yeah.
this year. Okay. 'Cause I know he's hitting 400 now, and I know he got the tendonitis going on. That's why like he came out after 6 innings and 80 pitches. I'm like, wait, why did they take him out? Like he's doing so well, and then it almost became a one-run game. Literally like less than an out later.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened? But yeah, he got tendonitis, some sort of tightness on his forearm or something.
Yeah, but they said he's expected to make his next start. So
Yeah.
he said he was fine. I don't know.
Then Scherzer, he's gonna skip one. I wonder how that game would have went if he stayed in. Like, does Posey get that home run?
Yes, absolutely.
There you go.
Like, you guys joke about me being like a possible car stand. You're a Posey stand easily.
But there's no
Well-
Posey haters. I mean, I'm sure there are, but they're not on Twitter.
I never said I hate him.
I've heard you say things about Posey that I
Yeah.
can't say
Excuse me?
here. But going back to the A's, things are going well for them. They got the Yankees soon after they play the Angels. It's gonna be an interesting couple of series soon. And then for the Giants, how do you feel about the Giants now?
I've been pleasantly surprised by their season so far. I did miss a lot of their first games because I was busy, but now I've had a real chance to just sit down and watch them. For them, it's been good that they've kind of had the next man up mentality because they have had a lot of injuries, and so everybody behind the starters have been able to fill roles so well. This weekend was, I don't know, that was just not a shock because at some point every team's going to cool off, but they were just completely silenced by the Nationals, who aren't doing that well, and they only scored, 3 runs?
Yeah, but they still split the
games.
series.
They're very lucky.
Yeah, well, that's what it takes. When they won the first opening game, 1-0.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you how good of a team they are right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, their starting pitching, has just been incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Gosman, DeSclafani, Wood, Webb still
And then you
hurt.
also got the one guy, Sammy Long.
Sammy Long has been a great story. He's from Sacramento, and he came out and did real well against the Rangers. Sanchez, too, who, I don't know, he's been gone forever, but he was doing well. Unfortunately, I think Cueto is not, I guess he's the weakest link in their rotation because he's just hasn't looked real sharp, but overall they've done really well.
Well, has he really pitched consistently? With the injuries, he's never really gotten into a groove.
Yeah, that's true. He did real well, and there was that one game where I think he went almost 9 innings, and then after that he just hasn't been right. But yeah, their starting pitching has just been great, and all the old veterans.
And they're getting timely hitting.
No offense to Brandon Belt, because I like Brandon Belt, but all of them but him have been doing very well.
How are his numbers?
He's just been striking out. He's just, his head's not on the ball, and he's just under everything. I don't think his numbers are great. And
Well, how's the Giants' backup catcher?
Kurt Casale.
Non-existent.
No, he plays. He's playing tonight. Buster, they split time, but he cannot hit. Poor guy. He hasn't had any solid contact really the whole season, and he was injured. Last week, and they brought up Chadwick Tromp, who hit better than
That's
him.
not anything to do with.
No.
Okay.
Chadwick Tromp. Tromp.
Okay, that's different.
And he hit a home run in one of the games against the Rangers. So I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna keep Casale around or what. But they still have Bart in the minors too.
But it is a really good story for them. The Giants have just been like insanely good this year. Like no one expected them to be as good as they are. Like I thought they were going to be like in the middle of the division. It could still end that way, but just the fact that they're leading it right now it's amazing. They've been leading it for a while too. It's not like it's like fluctuating between like if they have the lead or not. They lost it once really, and then they just took over again.
Yeah, well, that was at the time when both San Diego and the Dodgers had gone, I think 9-1 or 8-2 in the stretch, and the Giants were like 5-5. They lost it for just a second.
The Dodgers swept
Yeah.
the Giants, and that was an awful series. Like none of those games were even close.
No.
Yeah, but then the Giants ended up sweeping the Padres, didn't they?
Yeah, and then he also took 3 out of 4 against the Dodgers in L.A.
I'm not sure if the Giants swept the Padres. I think they swept the Diamondbacks and
That's easy to do.
the Reds. I don't know if they swept anybody else, but yeah, I know they
Okay.
they definitely won the series. But
By the way, that is the first time I've ever been wrong.
oh,
Let me
sorry.
let that be noted.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually don't know. I could be wrong.
Who are some really disappointing teams? Like for me, like easily one I can think of right now, the Braves. I don't get how they're always a tad under 500. I feel like their roster looks like it's a type that could be ready for a World Series, but the results are just not there.
Yeah, can you attribute that to injuries or just people having off years?
It has to be off years. It has to be pitching, I think, because I don't really see any problems with their hitting.
I don't think their bullpen's great, and their starting pitching, they're still missing Soroka. Fried is just getting back into it, I think. I'm not sure exactly, but I don't know. You just expect so much more from them.
Yeah.
The Yankees are.
Yankees are always going to get
The Yankees are
overhyped.
one game above 500, but they're 8.5 games back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's injuries are killing that team. But you have the Brewers making a surprise here. They're tied with the Cubs. Brewers have had a 9-1 record the last 10 games. Chicago is 8-2 in the last 10 games. The Cubs 6-4. So city of Chicago is still doing good.
I'm surprised the Indians have a winning record. Oh, the Cleveland baseball team has a winning record.
Yeah,
That surprises me. And then, oh wow, I didn't know they were tied with Milwaukee and Cubs were tied.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pittsburgh just keeps sucking, which I don't mind.
and the Twins. Who are the Twins?
Twins are bad.
Pretty much the same thing with them.
They have a great offense, but the pitching just isn't there. And then you got the AL West. Texas is awful, and the A's haven't gotten to play them yet, so I can't wait to play them. So hopefully that's soon. And Angels and Mariners aren't exactly pushovers either. Mariners are under 500, but only by 3 games. They've played some decent baseball every now and then.
Well, they're in third place not too long ago, and they're only in fourth right now, but they were at least on the plus side in the win column.
It's a good division.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I wish the Astros just sucked.
The Colorado Rockies, they're 25-41. They are, I do believe they are 5-20 away.
I know the Diamondbacks
Yeah,
have a horrible
road
record
wins.
on the road.
The Diamondbacks have lost, I think, 19 straight away games. They haven't won an away game since Bumgarner threw his no-hitter in April.
The 7-inning no-hitter.
No-hitter.
It's not.
Which
Is it still considered a no-hitter?
No, they said no.
To me, it is.
And that's a joke. I'm sorry. This 7-inning doubleheader rule is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't even count the results of, let's say, Bumgarner's no-hitter, what good is it? It seems it's like it's more of a gimmick than a real game.
Yeah, it's a joke. But
So-
The
anything else?
Diamondbacks are horrible.
The Diamondbacks just it's. Oof.
Now, last week we talked about managers' uniforms, and since you listen to all the podcasts as you're a contractor,
Contributor.
contractually obligated to. I mean, we don't pay you for nothing. We do pay you, don't we?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you don't have to listen to it. But how do you feel about it? Do you feel that strange at all? The way the baseball managers are the only managers of any major sports where they actually wear the uniform?
No. I think the reason is because they do go out on the field rather than like other coaches stay on the sidelines. I don't know. I don't think it's strange. I think that they all look good, uniformed, and yeah.
Okay. You wanted the opinion.
So is there anything else you guys want to talk about with baseball? Is there anything really interesting to talk about? Like MVP candidates.
Interesting talking about baseball? Oh no.
What about like spin rates?
Oh yeah, the spin rates. Because
oh yeah, they did. Baseball just put the hammer down.
Mm-hmm.
Said that the
suspensions would be putting the hammer down.
Well, I mean it's worked. I mean Bauer's spin rate.
Yeah, Bauer hasn't been playing well. He only has like one more win than he has losses.
Yeah, but they're allowed. I heard today. I don't know if it happened yesterday or just happened today, but they're going to allow the umpires to check the pitchers at least twice a game, and not as they go out to the mound or when they come back. But I'm guessing during an inning, just to go out there and say, "Let me check you out, man."
But Manfred has been complaining about pace of play. But that's going to slow the game down even more, especially if you get guys like Joe West who, want to make a show. He wants to be the star of the show. He'll go out there anytime he wants just to...
He needs those YouTube viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Or is he a, influencer at all? No?
Influencer?
What, Joe West?
Joe West?
Yeah.
An influencer.
Yeah.
If you asked me about Bauer, then I would have thought because he does a lot of videos and all that, but Okay, so speaking of influence, that just totally gave me an idea of something to talk about right now. Is the whole thing with how a certain group of people really like to get into boxing nowadays. You got people from TikTok and YouTube getting involved. It all started because the Paul brothers wanted to get into it.
Do both of them box?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both of them do now. I wouldn't say they're not professionals.
No.
Really. And you can tell it's rigged, honestly, especially when both of them fought with KSI, another YouTuber, and his brother. The first one was totally rigged to tie because I think it was, I don't know how it should have went, but it's it should not have been a tie. And the other one, they the judges vote for KSI to win. I remember that was oh, it's a big win and all that. And then you have Jake Paul fighting someone who I think used to be a boxer or something like that, and he won with one punch. He just gets a punch on the guy and just falls down, and he's declared a winner. And the guy, you can tell he doesn't care. He's getting money. He's getting paid to fall down. And then you had the fight between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, and you actually see Floyd knock him out, but Floyd kept him up just to make sure he kept going. And they called it a tie. No. It had to be a tie because it was an exhibition, so they couldn't vote on who won. They just, even though everyone knew Floyd won because really. Logan the whole time, you could tell he's just he's barely conscious the whole time. He's fighting. They're also hugging a lot, which Floyd, he's been accused of that many times.
Yeah.
Where he tends to hug his opponents.
Well, how much? Are people? They were charging this a pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, it's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So and how much were they charging?
It's robbery, just not calling it robbery.
I mean.
Wow, that's a joke.
Not if you watched it on Twitter.
And then you also got people. Who are just recently in the past weekend, Friday I think it happened, Friday or Thursday, where you have TikTokers and YouTubers fighting each other, and there's this guy Bryce Hall. I don't know much about him really. I don't care about these people. Honestly, they're famous for nothing. All they can do is dance in place, which honestly that's not even dancing. My cat could dance better, and he's just sleeping right now. But it's just so stupid. And so you can tell some are there's ties one you see the stats on it and it was called a tie one they landed 40 punches and the other one landed 17 and they called it a tie, something like that. And it's just,
but it is an exhibition, so it's
no that wasn't an exhibition though. That one exhibition they don't even have judges vote on who they think won. That's the thing with exhibition. They don't even bother to go to the judges.
Well, the only thing is.
But that one,
I've been to an exhibition or two in my life. I remember seeing Roberto Duran, and I'm dating myself here because Roberto Duran was one of the greatest all-time boxers in the world. He ended up losing, I do believe, twice to Sugar Ray Leonard. And at the San Francisco Civic, I saw an exhibition with Roberto Duran and an up-and-coming fighter from San Francisco called Pat Lawler. And they did an exhibition. Roberto Duran was past his prime for sure. He went out in the ring with a poncho on, and he was overweight and everything, but he could still fight. He was still quick as hell. And they get into this exhibition, and Pat Lawler tried it. They were, they have an agreement before the fight. Okay, don't hit in the face, don't do this, but just show some little boxing skills. And Pat Lawler tried to one up Roberto Duran by doing a quick punch and hit him good. And all of a sudden, Roberto Duran just says, "Oh, hell with this," and he went at Lawler and got some good licks in there. But it was exhibition. All that happens is the ref in there to make sure, nothing illegal happens. But no one is declared a winner. They both, at the end of the fight, they both put their hands up like they're both victorious. But how these YouTubers, I guess, or these other people,
influencers, which is what made me think of saying that.
Joe West.
Yeah, one of these things is gonna go wrong where it's one of them isn't going to be want to be hit a certain way or get hit a certain way, and something's going to go south. So and it's to charge the amount of money they do for an exhibition is a joke unless the money's going to charity, which it should, instead of their pockets. Merriweather doesn't need the money, and I'm sure Paul doesn't either. So for them to charge what they do and not say 100% of this is going to charity, or a certain amount, then they're just ripping off the people.
Yeah.
So
you were mentioning a ref earlier, and it made me think of how when they called one of the ties out, it's like, wait, that's a tie. It was a total joke of a tie, but you see the ref put both their hands up, and he's like, what? He actually looked confused, genuinely. Yeah. But yeah, enough about that. We don't really have much to say about football. Mini camp does start. No, camp is it mini? Yeah, I think mini camp does start soon in a couple days.
Is that the one Aaron Rodgers isn't going to?
I don't know. That whole thing, I don't even know what's gonna happen. It's ridiculous how far that's gone. But anyways, though, we got the Raiders there getting ready for that. Of course, the Niners are too. I don't know how the schedules are because I know some teams they get into the thing differently at different times.
Opening game for the Raiders is Thursday night.
No, Monday night.
Monday night.
It's been Monday night for the last 4 years now.
Okay.
Since 2018, they've been doing it like that. I don't know why. I don't know if they have a special deal with ESPN to make it like that, but that's just how it's been.
That's going to be very interesting to see the division of fans at the Vegas arena.
Well, they've been able to get fans out of thin air when they made the Golden Knights. Bryce Harper telling people that he's been a fan his whole life. That actually happened. Yeah. Bryce Harper's like, oh yeah, I've been a fan my whole life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a vacation destination.
Okay,
what I've been saying all along is when it's going to be a vacation destination for any away team because Giants are playing the Raiders this year. They're in Vegas, so save up some money and that'll be our vacation.
Do you think that's gonna happen? I've always kind of disagreed with that a little bit. I think it will happen, but the way you say it, sounds like it's gonna be mostly the visiting team. I just don't think that's possible.
I see it easy because I
the
know
Raider
for a
fans
fact
will travel.
I know for a fact that the people I know who had Raider tickets, they're not going to go to Vegas every week. They're selling their tickets for a profit. And you only think they're going to sell, okay, I only sell the Raider tickets to Raider fans. No, they're going to highest bidder. And it's going to be from an away team.
We'll see. We'll see what happens on week 1 and throughout the season. We'll find out.
Yeah, and you will say, Dad, you were right. I think that might be for the first time ever.
No, even if you are right, I'm not going to say it.
You heard it, folks. He hates me.
One thing about the Raiders, they did not get Julio Jones, which, I had no idea if they were going to or not. Some people act like they were. Close to me says that, Raiders are in the lead with Julio Jones. It's like, okay, but
what's your source?
Yeah.
Dude, trust me.
Yeah, dude, trust me. That's what it is. But yeah, I didn't really think they really had a shot at him. And also, you also want to develop Ruggs and Edwards too. Those are guys that can still be they are going to be starters this year. But they need to prove themselves as stars, and I think they should deserve a chance. Julio Jones would have been great as a mentor and also just a number 1 receiver. He's still got it.
Blah. That's what I think about Julio Jones.
I think they're trying to say blah, 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 too, from the outside.
Oh, they going after you, Marissa?
They're going after Steven.
Oh, jeez. I don't know why you would have to say that, but anyways, though, I do want to mention something. I had an article come out this weekend. I don't know if you guys have read it or not.
I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I haven't read it either. Sorry.
I feel betrayed. Larry, did you read it?
No.
No, I think you did. You told me.
I said no.
I said no? Okay. Well, now I'm just...
As much as I would like to comment on it, this is like...
Well, I could talk about it now.
Please
right?
do.
Yeah.
So I did a ranking of the offensive groups by position. So, like receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks. So I did a hierarchy, like which one is best set up right now. And first I had the tight ends just because, Darren Waller, he's all pro material. Should have been all pro, but because he didn't do first and second place voting, it was the second spot was just empty because everyone voted Kelsey and they didn't bother to do who do you think should get the second spot?
That's ridiculous.
That's so stupid, like barbaric level thinking. But anyways, so yeah, Waller. Then you got Foster Moreau, which it's like they're getting better by losing someone, and that's losing Witten because he took away too many snaps from Moreau. It was ridiculous with how Gruden used him. Giving him ridiculous.
Gruden doing something not smart. That's a shocker.
But
how long is Gruden going to be head coach?
Forever.
I don't know. I really don't know. I can't guess. I don't think anyone would be right.
Well, this is his fourth year or fifth year?
Fourth
Year. 4 years too many, in my opinion.
But then, like I said, Foster Moreau, he has a lot of what it takes to be a good tight end. He's a great blocker, and he can also catch pretty well too. He runs his routes pretty well, and he was a red zone threat. In 2019, he had 5 touchdowns, and he only had 2 last year. I hope he gets more time in, especially because him and Waller could be really deadly in the red zone. And then you also got Derek Carrier. He's going to be a special teams guy, so he'll get a pass every now and then. But really simple role, but he's still quality in what he does. He still has quality play in what he does. I don't know if that was proper English there, but then I put in running backs as a close second. Because you got Josh Jacobs and now Kenyon Drake, who's a really good two-way back where he can catch and pass.
Yeah, if he can go back to the way he played 2 years ago,
he still had some good games. He was inconsistent, but he still had some good games.
Yeah.
And I think with him and Jacobs sharing, I think that's the best of both worlds there for them because they won't get overworked, but they'll still get plenty of reps in.
Yeah.
And Rashard Hill probably, I think he'll be traded or cut at some point because it will save money getting rid of him. Because what he does, Drake can do better, so why have Rashard there? And you got undrafted free agent Trey Ragas, who was pretty decent in college. He might get some snaps in every now and then. He might be a pleasant surprise. And he might be someone you want to put in if one of them gets hurt, Jacobs or Drake.
Yeah, as in most football teams, into injuries. We'll see if they can avoid the injury bug.
Yeah. But I could tell the way the roster's being set up, Gruden wants to establish the run, and it didn't work out a lot last year. He wanted to run the ball more. And whether or not you agree with it, he wants to run the ball, and so
but when they did run the ball good, he went to a passing game. I don't know. He can't get his head on straight.
But with the way it's set up now, it has to be. If not, then
what?
Yeah, put him on the chopping block.
Okay.
But they won't.
Oh, really? But, yeah. So
100 million.
And then you got Alec Ingold, who's a really good fullback. I think he's really good. Top 5 amongst fullbacks, even though fullback isn't as much of a popular position as it used to be. I really like Alec Ingold. And, he's a great blocker, and also he can come in every now and then just for the offense to, get a carry in on 4th and short or take a pass. Then in third, so in the middle, quarterback, Carr and...
What? He's not at the top?
No. I am not a stan. I promise you. But so you got Carr and Mariota, and what I said about them is that they're both solid quarterbacks, but it's still a stretch to call them elite. So that's why they're in the middle, because people can debate about Jacobs being a top 10 guy. You can debate about Waller being a top 10 guy, but Carr, he's kind of hovering on the outside. He's sometimes at his best he's borderline, and if not, he's in the middle. That's my range for him. And so, same thing with Mariota. There's a reason why he lost his starting job, but he's also pretty good as well. And what I said is, they'll get the job done. And Carr, like I said, if they're going to run the ball more, as it looks like they're going to be set up for, then Carr's not going to be asked to do a lot. He's going to be more of a game manager type of role if that's what they're doing. So you might not have him do as much, and even if he disappoints, you're going to have Mariota there who will bring his own style into the fold of things, and I think he would do well too. I think it's a good situation they're at with quarterback. Sure, they're not elite, but if one fails, then no problem going to the other guy at all. And then fourth, I put the offensive line where, they revamped it. They got rid of Hudson, Jackson, and Brown, which was, a very daring move. We don't know how that's going to go because you got a lot of guys who
Saves a lot of money.
Saves a lot of money for other people, but if you don't have an O-line, then you're not going to do anything on offense. And we've seen that to happen to other teams where if they don't have an O-line, you're not doing anything. And if they want to run the ball, it's not going to work. But like I said, I noticed with grades that players are given, when it comes to the passing grades versus the rushing grades, when it comes to blocking, the Raiders' offensive line last year, with the guys they got rid of, they were better in the pass but worse in the rush. And so the guys that they're going to be starting now, they were really good in the rush but so-so in the pass. So that has to be a reason why that I think they're going to go with the rush more this year. Like, they're going to be run heavy, even though they have already been like that before. They're going to really commit to that this year. That's what I think. And then last, I put in the wide receivers just because, you got guys there who are going to be great potential, but because they're not going to pass the ball much, they're not going to really get many chances. And the guys there already aren't really proven. And they also let Aguilar walk, who was really good with Carr. Do I think John Brown could be decent? Yeah, but I don't think he'll be as good as Aguilar. And we still don't really know what's going to happen with Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards. They both missed multiple games with injuries. They both had their moments where they look like they can be star receivers, but there's just so much uncertainty. And that's where I put everything. And I concluded with saying that this offense can still be really good, but there's just too many question marks right now to really set anything in stone with where they'll be.
And those questions will be answered during the season.
Yes.
Marissa, anything about the Niners? Any Niner news?
No. I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens with Jimmy G and Trey Lance and George Kittle. Yeah,
Is he better than Waller in your opinion? Who are the top three tight ends? Of course, Kelsey,
Kittle,
Waller.
Yeah.
And who are the top five quarterbacks, Steven?
Carr.
No, I just said he's like
Watson.
Jimmy G.
Watson, isn't he a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yes.
If he plays. He's already got all the charges on him still, which I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
And then he also still wants to get traded.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen people sit out. They'll do it. But top five quarterbacks, if Watson plays, yes. You got Mahomes, Rodgers.
Brady.
No, not Brady. He gets the job done, but I wouldn't call him top five. I don't really know. Tannehill, a lot of people called. You said Tannehill.
Tannehill.
I don't think he's that good, but he's good.
Cashmere?
Scott Cashmere.
Sean Manai, where did you come from?
What?
Colin Kaepernick. Let's go. I'd actually be happy. That's not going to happen, though. He's seen his time in the NFL, unfortunately. Tim Tebow, top 3 tight end, though. Do you think actually that should be our last thing to talk about here, unless we have anything else to talk about?
No. Actually, in a little NBA news, we're watching the game as we speak, and Trae Young just hurt his shoulder. And
no, actually, that might be just him sitting, because they tend to do that a lot, where they're covered in ice.
That's a lot of wrapping up to.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. On our next episode, you'll find out what happened.
Because we're more focused on the podcast than watching the game.
Yeah. Do you think Tebow has a good shot at actually being a decent tight end for the Jaguars? Because they're not going to look to be good, so it's why not?
No.
He's a whatchamacallit, what would you say? Freak show.
Freak show?
Freak show.
He'll have his time in the preseason. He might get a touchdown, or he might have a really embarrassing moment where he's he's running around.
When he gets that touchdown, it'll be like, oh, Tebow's he can do it. No.
ESPN will lose their minds if he makes the roster.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Tebow did this.
He might make it. I don't know. We'll see.
And Trevor Lawrence, actually, he's going to miss some of camp due to hamstring tightness, I believe it was. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for football and it for the episode in general. Do you guys have any last words?
I'm so glad, Marissa, you were able to make it.
I totally agree.
I'm glad to be back.
Right on.
Yeah, hopefully we can have you back in often. We'll see about
Not
it.
every week.
No,
I don't know if I
need
can
to take a
handle.
vacation.
I don't know if I
Already.
can handle her every week.
Oh,
So.
We'll find out.
No, it was fun to have
You
good
like,
having
you
you.
need load management like they do in the NBA.
yeah. I can only do every 2 podcasts. Like Buster Posey only catches every 2 games.
Well, any way we can get you to contribute with us, that's great.
Yeah. And what you got? I'll post my articles every now and then on how that's going.
5 stars.
Yes, please. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.